They drove with speed, their minds racing with fear. As they approached a traffic light, their worst fears were realized. Police officers were conducting routine checks on cars. Peter's hands tightened on the steering wheel as they were waved to the side. "Stay calm," Peter whispered to Patricia. "We'll get through this." The police officer approached their car, flashlight in hand. "Good evening, sir. We're conducting routine checks. May I see your license and registration?" Peter handed over the documents with a forced smile. "Of course, officer." The officer glanced at the back seat where Samantha lay, covered with a blanket. "Is everything all right here?" he asked, suspicion creeping into his voice. Thinking quickly, Peter pulled out a wad of cash and discreetly handed it to the officer. "Just a family emergency, officer. We're in a bit of a rush." The officer hesitated, then pocketed the money and stepped back. "All right, move along." Peter breathed a sigh of relief as they drove off, heading straight for the airport. With forged documents and new identities, they relocated to another state, far from where anyone would think to look for them. Back in their hometown, Laura, Jack, and the police continued their relentless search for Samantha. Flyers were posted everywhere, and her face was broadcasted on every news channel. Despite their efforts, weeks turned into months with no sign of the little girl. The once lively home of Laura and Jack began to fall into despair. Each night, Laura would wet her pillow with tears, clutching a picture of Samantha. Jack tried to stay strong for both of them, but the pain of their missing daughter weighed heavily on his heart. "I can't lose hope, Jack," Laura said one night, her voice trembling. "I just can't." "We'll find her, Laura," Jack replied, though his own voice wavered. "We have to believe that." The police worked tirelessly, following every lead and tip, but they always seemed to be one step behind. The case grew colder with each passing day, and the town's initial fervor to find Samantha slowly faded. Peter and Patricia decided that the best way to keep Samantha safe and hidden was to get her a home teacher. They wanted to ensure she received a good education without risking exposure. At first, everything seemed perfect. They provided Samantha with toys, books, and all the comforts she could ask for. It was their way of compensating for taking her away from her real family. A few months later, Patricia discovered she was pregnant. She couldn't contain her joy. The news brought a renewed sense of happiness to their home. They prepared for the baby with excitement and anticipation, decorating the nursery and buying all the necessities. When Patricia finally gave birth to a baby boy, their world seemed complete. But as Patricia's attention shifted to her newborn son, Samantha started to feel the change. Patricia became increasingly distant and cold towards her. Samantha, who had once been the center of their world, now found herself pushed aside. Patricia was overly protective of her newborn and wouldn't let Samantha come close to him. At times, she even neglected to feed Samantha, leaving her hungry and confused. Peter began to notice the change in Patricia's behavior. One evening, as they sat in the living room, he decided to confront her. "Patricia, I don't like the way you are treating Samantha," he said gently. "She's just a child, and she needs us. If you're tired of taking care of her, why don't we consider taking her back to her biological parents?" Patricia's face hardened. "Are you serious, Peter? Do you want to spend the rest of your life in jail? We've gone too far to turn back now. Don't even think about that." Peter was taken aback by her harsh response, but knew she was right. They were in too deep. The fear of being caught and punished loomed over him. Despite his concerns, he couldn't risk exposing their secret. He felt trapped, unable to protect Samantha from Patricia's growing resentment. Days turned into weeks, and Patricia's behavior only worsened. She became increasingly harsh, often leaving Samantha alone for long periods. Samantha, once a lively and happy child, became withdrawn and quiet. Peter watched helplessly as the little girl he had grown to care for was slowly being neglected. In the following weeks, Peter tried to spend more time with Samantha. He would sneak her extra food, read her bedtime stories, and play games with her. He hoped that his small acts of kindness would make up for Patricia's neglect. Laura and Jack were heartbroken over the disappearance of their daughter, Samantha. Each day was tough, but they never lost hope of finding her. One day, Laura found out she was pregnant, bringing a little joy into their sad lives. Months later, she gave birth to twin girls. The new babies brought hope and happiness back to their home. Jack held one of the twins and looked at Laura lovingly. "See, my love," he said softly, "God has blessed us with double. We haven't forgotten Samantha, and we will find her someday." Laura smiled through her tears. "Yes, Jack. We will never stop looking for her, but for now, let's love our new babies." Life became more difficult for Samantha. Patricia began treating her like a maid. Samantha did all the house chores, often without enough food. The happy child she once was had turned into a quiet girl who did her best to survive. Peter noticed how badly Patricia was treating Samantha. Over time, his concern grew. One evening, he sat down with Patricia after dinner. "Why don't we hire a maid to help out?" he suggested gently. "Samantha deserves better." Patricia's face hardened. "Samantha is fit for the job. We don't need anyone else," she replied coldly. Peter felt a knot of frustration tighten in his chest. He looked over at Samantha, who was quietly clearing the table, her eyes downcast. He decided to push a little further. "If we're not getting a maid, then Samantha needs to get a job. She can't stay indoors all day doing chores." Patricia's eyes flashed with anger. "Are you serious, Peter? You want to risk someone recognizing her? She's fine doing what she's doing." Samantha, gathering her courage, stepped into the conversation. "Can I continue my education?" she asked, her voice trembling slightly. Patricia shot her down immediately. "No, you have enough work to do here," she snapped. Peter sighed, feeling defeated. He knew arguing with Patricia was pointless, but he couldn't stand seeing Samantha treated so poorly. Meanwhile, Laura and Jack never stopped searching for Samantha. They raised their twin girls with love, but always missed their lost daughter. They hoped every day to find her. 18 years passed. Samantha had grown into a beautiful young woman. Despite the harsh treatment, she remained strong. Her eyes showed a quiet strength from all she had endured. Peter felt guilty for taking Samantha. Over the years, he watched her grow and started to care for her. He admired her strength and resilience and found himself feeling more and more affection for her. One evening, Peter found Samantha washing dishes. She looked tired. He approached her gently. "Samantha, you don't have to do all this work. You deserve a break." Samantha looked up, surprised by his kindness. "Thank you, Father," she said quietly. "But if I don't do it, Mother will be angry." Peter sighed. "I know. But you shouldn't have to live like this. You're part of this family too." As time passed, Peter's feelings for Samantha grew. He saw her not just as the little girl they took, but as a young woman who had become important to him. He struggled with his feelings, knowing how complicated their situation was. One morning, after Patricia had gone out with her son, Samantha saw an opportunity to talk to Peter alone. She found him sitting in the living room. "Father, I want to ask you something," Samantha began, her voice trembling slightly. Peter looked up from his newspaper. "What is it, Samantha?" "Are you and Mummy my biological parents?" Samantha asked, her eyes filled with tears. Peter felt a rush of guilt and panic. "Yes, why do you ask?" "Because of the way she treats me. I don't understand anything anymore. It feels like I'm not really part of this family." "Don't stress yourself, Samantha. I love you so much." "It's hard, Daddy. I just want to feel like I belong," Samantha said, still looking uncertain. "You deserve better, Samantha. That's why I've already got a job for you as a receptionist in the newly built hotel down the street." Samantha's eyes widened in surprise and joy. "Really? Thank you so much, Daddy. I love you." "You deserve it, Samantha. You're a smart and capable young woman. This job will give you some independence and a chance to interact with people outside." "Thank you, Daddy. This means so much to me." When Patricia came back home, Samantha, excited, rushed to her. "Mummy, Daddy has gotten me a job." "What job?" Patricia asked sharply. "A receptionist at a hotel down the street," Samantha said, beaming. Patricia's face turned red with anger. "How dare he?" She stormed into the living room where Peter was sitting. "How dare you get Samantha a job? Who will do all these house chores?" "I have told you several times to get a house help, but you refused," Peter replied calmly. "I don't care, okay? Samantha will not work, not in this house," Patricia said angrily. "What is it, Patricia? Is it because I work in your father's company that you make me feel less of a man? Please, give me a break. I am the man of this house, and whatever I say must stand. Samantha will resume work tomorrow, whether you like it or not." Patricia was fuming. "You have no right to make such decisions without consulting me." "I do have the right," Peter insisted. "Samantha deserves better than to be treated like a maid. She's a smart, capable young woman, and she deserves a chance to build her own life." Patricia glared at Peter, her hands clenched into fists. "This is my house too, and I won't allow it. Samantha stays home, and that's final." "No, it's not final. This is not up for debate. Samantha starts her job tomorrow. If you can't accept that, then maybe you need to reconsider how you treat her and everyone else in this house." Patricia stormed out of the room, slamming the door behind her. Samantha, who had been listening from the hallway, felt a mix of fear and hope. She had never seen her father stand up to Patricia like that before. It gave her a glimmer of hope that her life might actually change for the better. The next day, Samantha got ready for her first day at the hotel. She was nervous but excited. Peter gave her a reassuring smile as he handed her a packed lunch. "Good luck, Samantha. You will do great." "Thank you, Daddy," Samantha said, hugging him tightly. Patricia watched from a distance, her face a mask of cold anger. She said nothing, but her eyes followed Samantha as she left the house. One afternoon, while Samantha was working